All right. So welcome to the Kabbalah Center of Boca. And those of you around the world, welcome to Spiritual Sunday. Oh, here we go, Portland, Oregon. So our purpose here is to change your life, the bottom line. So there's a lot of things out there that will tell you they can change your life and they can help you. There's a lot of self-help. The last 15, 20 years, more and more things going on there. So what you and I are learning or come to understand here in the Kabbalah Center is there is an original system. I mean, it's very simple. If you look at this building, do you believe that there is a blueprint to this building? Or did the contractor just throw a bunch of material together and say, hey, I know how to do it, and let me just throw it together? Was there a blueprint or was there a blueprint? Yes or yes? Okay, there was a blueprint. So then in simple terms also, does the physical turn into the spiritual or the spiritual becomes the physical? Spiritual comes first and then it's manifest in the physical. So if there's a physical blueprint to a physical building, what do you think there is for the world, for the universe? Has to also be a spiritual blueprint. That's all the Zohar is. In simple terms, the Zohar, which is the source of all Kabbalistic wisdom, is just the blueprint of the universe. And that's why, as we often share, 2,000 years ago when it was first put in writing, not even the oral teachings, 2,000 years ago in its written form, for me, I'll just quick because you can go and listen to some of the other things. For me, the biggest thing that I saw, 1973, I was pre-med at UCLA, and they were talking about how nobody should ever touch an egg again because cholesterol of the eggs could kill people, harden the arteries and kill people. You open up Parshat Pinchas in the Zohar, and it says 2,000 years ago, not only is there, of course, they didn't use the word cholesterol, but they used fatty acids from the bile of the liver that could harden the arteries and kill people 2,000 years ago. But not only that, before the scientists came up with good cholesterol, read again the Zohar, because it's got to be part of the blueprint of the universe. What could exist today that's not part of the blueprint? Can't be anything. So 2,000 years ago, the Zohar wrote about good and bad cholesterol. Besides quantum physics, relativity, computer science, all the rest of it, medicine, psychology, mathematics, everything you can think of that you would call a physical science, written of and explained in the Zohar. So what you and I are here to do is to go back to that original blueprint, understand what's going on in the universe that you and I cannot see. How many of you have ever had an intuitive flash that just jumped in your head out of nowhere? Any of you? So tell me this then. If we think, here's the paradox, if we think we are thinking beings who create our own thoughts, then how do thoughts jump into our head unexpected, unplanned?
We don't think that we do it.
Oh, okay, we all think I'm thinking these great thoughts and I'm thinking good about you all and this. But then how do the thoughts come in? So we don't have that kind of power. The power we have is, what do we do with the thoughts that jump in our head? Because they're the egotistical ones that we want to learn not only just to not manifest, but you and I come to understand that inside those negative thoughts, there's actually the infinite light of the Creator, the source of infinite lasting fulfillment and bliss. So we learn here, which is why they used to say Kabbalah will drive you crazy, because we learn here when you have a challenge, when you have something negative happen to you, embrace it and use that opportunity to transform, if you will, refine, like crude oil gets refined into gasoline, refine all that negativity that's awakening in you into love and blessings and eternal bliss. Another piece of it. That's what we're learning. How many people on earth should not hear that? How many people are not worthy of it? And if we could say it this way, which person needs it the most? If you're really going to think about it honestly and objectively, who needs that ability to transform their darkness to light, their negative to positive, their chaos to order? Who needs it the most? Not you and I, we all need it. But the people who really, we could say, need it are the ones today who are acting out there in the world with the violence and the hatred and the avarice and all that stuff. They're the ones who need it, because think, if they could learn to transform all that negativity to reveal it as light, The light of the Creator, love, kindness, compassion, generosity, tolerance, humility, forgiveness, apology. How much would the world change? Think how fast. Prophet Jeremiah says, blink of an eye. You walk in your house, you're in a dark room, you turn on the light. How many minutes does it take for the darkness to move out of the room and the light to replace it? None, instantaneous. So how much more can the light of the Creator that's implanted in the soul of every person on earth, how much faster can that change not only you and I, but we're going to talk about it, the quantum universe. How fast can it change the world? So the only point of the Kabbalah Center is teaching people of every religion, color, background, nationality, which sadly flies in the face of what most traditional people will tell you. Kabbalah is only for those very scholarly, Orthodox Jewish men over 40, married, and goes on and on and on with all kinds of qualifications and prerequisites. But then let me ask you, if the Zohar and what we're teaching you here is the operating system of your soul and the soul of every person on earth, how long should we wait for people to be able to figure out what to do with their soul? Because if they don't learn how to use their soul, then of course they're only going to listen to that other voice, the anger, the jealousy, the ego, the greed, the fear, the avarice, the divisiveness, the resentment, all of that. So how long should we wait? So that's what you and I are doing here. We don't want anybody to wait. And now, all of a sudden, you got millions of people not only learning in the center, but there are a lot of people out there since the 90s, when the Kabbalah Center started to get worldwide fame. All of a sudden, you got everybody trying to follow on us. Google. 1987, I came to the center. There was no Google. So you couldn't Google Kabbalah. But if you could, you'd find one website, Kabbalah Center. Now you Google it, you got hundreds of thousands of people who say they're teaching. But, and I share it with you, okay, check who their teacher was. And who their teacher's teacher was, and who their teacher's teacher. See where they come from. Are they just suddenly picking up and spew back to you what I read? Or do they have a lineage of great master Kabbalists who are divinely guided, who, like you put piping together. So one pipe, you want it to continue, put the next pipe, and the next pipe, and the next pipe. So whatever it is that goes out there, goes out to everybody. That's what we've got. So the Rav and Karen had a teacher, Rav Brandwein, who had a teacher, Rav Ashlag, and you can go back. But if you just check out Rav Ashlag, that's enough. That's enough. The first man in history to take the original Zohar from Aramaic, translate it to Hebrew with commentary. So it would be practical to people in this world today. So we're going to see how we benefit from that today. So let's start with, for those of you here and those of you online, we're going to say our affirmation together. Because we've got to keep fighting that negative voice in our head, because it's telling us lies 24/7. The problem is the voice is so loud, sometimes we can't hear the voice of our soul that's trying to get the truth coming out to us. So this is why we're going to keep affirming this every time we meet, so that we can keep putting in more and more awakening of the light, and we'll be tuned in, so our consciousness will be focused on the voice of the light and not the voice of the opponent. So let's say it together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with great love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. Because consciousness is everything. And you just said, greater love, kind, and compassion. So just to remind you, it doesn't mean they're saying that you don't have it, but we can all go more. Can you not? Okay, so let's start. Otherwise, I might keep going on. I can hear it. Thank you. So we all know the law of cause and effect. Yes? Yes. It's been popularized. The law of attraction. Kabbalah has been writing about it 2,000 years, teaching it for 5,783 years since Adam and Eve. Okay, we can talk about evolution and we can talk about millions of years of the earth, another class. But for now, 5,783 years, the Kabbalists have been teaching us. Everything is like attracts like. Everything is cause and effect. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the other side that you don't hear people talking about, the law of repulsion, because they're the same thing. The law of attraction is the law of repulsion. You attract one thing, you're pushing away other things. You don't like what you're pushing away, you better start acting like the thing that you're pushing away and start pushing away the thing that you were doing. Right? So we all know that. We spoke about it. If you want to go back, it's on the Facebook page. It's probably on the YouTube channel. So whatever we do goes out, comes back. So however we behave, whatever energy we put out there into the cosmos through our daily life, you're driving down the street. You ever been annoyed at the driver in front of you? Isn't it amazing? And let's be honest, you don't have to raise your hand, and those of you out there don't have to admit it, but think to yourself, right? We all have those people, you drive down the street, that annoying person who didn't drive the way you want, yes? Did we really ever stop to think, somewhere along the line, I'm the annoying driver to the person behind me? But I look in the mirror and say, Chaim, you're such a good person. You teach Kabbalah, you help people, you do all these nice things. How could I be annoying to them? But in their mind, I'm annoying because whatever I'm doing is not what they want me to do. The same way we look at them and we say, oh, they're not driving. And usually it's when I'm in a hurry. I've gotten a lot better 35 years in the center. I can actually just go, no annoyance, and just start sending light. Right? But, okay, you see those. So you think, okay, if I'm annoyed and I send out the energy of annoyance, it's going to come back to me. Right? That's the way it works. Send out fear, because you've got to see the two sides. You send out fear, so we think, okay, a situation came up, woke up my fear, right? I see a spider on the floor. I had a fear of spiders. One day I'll tell you that story, how I overcame that, but okay. Had a fear of spider, start to feel fearful, right? Run away, scream and yell, whatever it was, call my mom to kill the spider, like this. So I'm putting out into the cosmos fear. Somewhere it's going to come around, cause an effect, and it's going to bring me back or bring us back a situation to be more fearful about. Because fear will attract fear. If I put out gratitude, something comes along my way, and maybe I wake up a sense of gratitude, and now I'm emanating gratitude because of something that happened in front of me. Okay, it's going to go out, it's going to come around, now something else will come along I'll be more grateful for. Insecurity. Any of you ever had a moment of insecurity? Okay, so just you and me, right? We have a moment of insecurity. You emanate that energy. We are electrical systems. Even think simple physics. Electricity running through a wire creates a magnetic field. Yes or yes? What is our nervous system? It's electricity. That's why they have EKGs and EEGs and all that stuff. So you are, even in a simple physical level, we're magnetic fields. So a person acts with a little insecurity, goes out, comes back, something to make them feel more insecure, to test their security as opposed to insecurity will come back. Person awakens compassion. Like we affirm, a little more compassion for this person who screamed and yelled at me, did something that shocked me. But I send out the light of compassion to them, goes out, I'm going to have more compassion from the cosmos. But now let's think. We have a tendency to think, and I must admit this is where today's class is coming from a revelation I had last week, speaking to a student about this. You put it out, okay, so you think, I acted with a little fear, insecurity, goes out, it's going to come back, sort of equal. But if you think about it, why is it then that the world is getting worse and worse, or better and better, like a snowball, right? The snowball goes, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? But it's the same thing that got started rolling down the hill, as they call it, and is picking up energy. So today we know. Today we have 20th century. We'll look a little deeper. And remember, science came to quantum physics when? 20th century, right? Great scientific minds discovered quantum physics, how everything in the universe affects everything else in the universe. So the Rav and Karen used to say, like, what's quantum physics teaching us? That if you slam your door too hard here in Boca, creating maybe a tornado or something in Japan, right? Everything is interconnected. Wow, great discovery of the 20th century. Sir Isaac Newton, just to put it out for some of you new people, You ever heard of the great Kabbalist, Rabbi Isaac Newton? Because people think this is Jewish, right? So he must have been a rabbi. Isaac Newton, Newtonian physics, right? The apple fell on his head, all of that stuff. You know where he got his scientific ideas? He wrote. He wrote more on Kabbalah than he wrote on physics. But he couldn't say that then. Till the 1990s, we didn't know all of that until his writings were sold by his family. And then we saw he wrote more on physics, or more on Kabbalah than he wrote on physics. And he said all of his ideas, all of his scientific ideas came from the Zohar. And you know where the Zohar came from? From his Zohar? His Zohar was in Latin. The Zohar is originally written in Aramaic, like we always talk about, right? This pocket Zohar that you could all have, right, should carry with you. It's in Aramaic, the original Zohar. So how did it get from Aramaic to Latin? Just for those of you who still may have a little thought that this is Jewish. Maybe you've heard of the Jewish Pope? I confused you now, right? The Pope is not Jewish, right? He's the head of Catholicism. The Pope in the 1700s, early 1700s, had the Zohar translated from Aramaic to Latin, while he was also causing other religious books to be destroyed, burned, because he said the Zohar will bring peace between the Muslim, the Jew, and the Christian. Back then. So Isaac Newton, and if you don't believe me, go to Trinity College in Oxford, England, and you can go see Isaac Newton's version of the Zohar. It's there in the reference libraries. So again, 2,000 years ago in its written form, the Kabbalists were talking about there is only one soul. Even those of you, the Bible, those of you who are new, we do believe the 5 books of Moses it is history. Those people lived, they did what they did. But the more important thing they're giving us through Kabbalistic wisdom, through the Zohar, is how the cosmic system works that we can apply today, 2023. It's not just about what they did, right? My favorite example, Thomas Edison. We could read books that could describe how he walked into the lab, how he drove home, came to the work, like this. All we really want to know is the light bulb, right? That's what we want. But you could hear his story. So in a similar way, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Moses, all that stuff, yes, they did what they did, but they were teaching us how the cosmos works. So when you look in the Zohar and you come to learn here, you can understand the system, and we can do the same thing in our day, in our life, so we can have the same peace, freedom, blessing, kindness, all the good blessings we're supposed to have by just using the system. It's that simple. So one soul, the Bible says, there was only one person created. Go back to the first chapter of Genesis, because we all know the story. Adam was put asleep, whatever you want to call it. The bone was taken out of the side of Adam and created who? Eve. Yes? So what does that mean before Eve was taken out of the side of Adam? There was only one being. One being. Right? One person. One soul. We call it, if you took Kabbalah 1, one vessel. Creator created one vessel and then this world, filled it with light, and then dropped it in the physical world. Here we are. Then there was split into Adam and Eve, and then there was split into Cain and Abel, and on and on and on, till today we have 8 billion people. But 8 billion people still sourced in one soul. So for 5,783 years, by Kabbalistic counting, there's only been one soul in this world. Which means then what? Every human being since the beginning of Adam and Eve, Garden of Eden, have been impacting and affecting every other human being. But how many of us wake up and go, oh my God, I'm getting a negative thought from that person over there. I don't even want to say a place because I'll get in trouble, I'm sure. But over there, or I'm getting a positive thought from over there. No, wake up and think, I'm thinking, right? I got a boost. Oh, I had a great dream. I woke up, or this and that. No, it's all out there. Is anyone in this room psychologist, psychiatrist? Okay. So, I don't know, maybe it's good or bad. They can't describe dreams. How do they explain dreams today? Right? You and I understand if you read the Zohar, if you have a dream, especially a dream before the break of dawn. So you need somebody who can interpret the dream to tell you what it means. But what do they say? Collective consciousness. All these things are just collective consciousness. Well, stop. You and I are, hello. What does collective consciousness mean? Every consciousness on every person on earth is related to everybody else. Otherwise, how's there collective consciousness? If we're not connected right now, you and I are in a collective energy, are we not? In this physical room and those of us together online. Yes? We are collective consciousness. Because we're all here focused together, all interconnected. So what I'm saying is affecting you, what you're thinking is affecting me, like that. So now all the Kabbalists says every person on earth is doing the same thing. So quantum consciousness, quantum physics, been around since the Big Bang. Only people didn't understand it. So then you and I, how do we use it? Okay. Why is there chaos in the world? Should be easier to understand now. Every person out there who's doing a negative thing, you and I drive down the street, we get annoyed, and we send out that energy, right, of annoyance. Where does it go? It goes out in the cosmos. It doesn't just go out and come back. But you think now 8 billion people putting out a little bit of negativity every day, no wonder the world. And think of the snowball. And I'm going to explain the snowball here in a second. Look at your own life. Any of you have a little chaos, confusion in your life? Anybody? They're not raising their hands. I think next week they're coming to teach, okay? All right? So we all have some chaos, some confusion. Why? Why? Because again, in the same way, we put it out there, it comes back to us. We have that voice in our head that we unfortunately listen to enough, too much, that we do all those reactive things. Fear, anger, jealousy, ego, greed, insecurity, lack, poverty, consciousness, stinginess, whatever it is. We put it out there. But let me ask you this. Anyone here ever use, and I hope, okay. Anyone ever use a search engine? Let's just try it that way. I want to make sure I stay on Facebook here. Use a search engine, right? So you put in joy. What happens almost instantaneously? You get back, what does it do? Essentially, it goes out to whatever, millions of places out there and brings you back an answer from millions of places, almost instantly, yes? Quantum. They reach out to the one World Wide Web, and they bring back from the World Wide Web, worldwide. You Google, you search here in Boca, it doesn't just stay in Boca, right? For those of you around the Macedonia, Hong Kong, if you Google there, or you search engine over there, right, it gives you from everywhere. So then think about it. This is why things have gotten to the point they are collectively and individually. Because every time you and I do an action, it goes out to 8 billion websites in the soul of 8 billion people and comes back from 8 billion people. So it's not like, even I was thinking till last week, okay, I do something reactive in this situation, it goes out and it comes back. Like I do one thing, it goes around, comes back one more. Right? I do a good thing, it goes out, it comes back one. No! It goes out there, comes back 8 billion sparks more. And I'm a magnetic force. Because I added, let's do the positive, right? We acted with greater compassion, so I added a level of compassion. I'm now a stronger energy magnet for compassion. Yes, it goes out and comes back, but at the same time, I'm energized. My aura is shining more magnetic energy of compassion, which means I'm drawing from 8 billion people, even a tiny spark of compassion energy from 8 billion people. How many of you would refuse to accept a penny from 8 billion people? Anybody? Why not? It's only $80 million. Come on, what's the big deal? Right? So imagine then a penny, just a penny, even half a penny, so to speak, of a spark of that energy coming back to you. And that's why it grows exponentially. Because it's affecting 80 billion people, or 8 billion people every day, every moment. So we've got to start realizing, what do I want to do? I want to start sending out the good light. Because now I'm starting to think, and that's why I said when I had this conversation with this student, all of a sudden I realized, wait a second, if I'm a stronger magnet, I'm drawing from 8 billion people because we're one soul. So we're on that spiritual internet. And that internet doesn't go off. You can't shut it off and you can't unfriend it. Even, if I can say it to you, even a person dying does not disconnect them from that spiritual internet. How do you know? Think simple. Whatever background, whatever religion you grew up in, did anybody ever offer you or encourage you to do some good action in the name, in the honor of somebody who's left the world? Yes or yes? Why? If they're dead, they're dead. If they're disconnected from this one soul internet, why would you bother? But because the truth is, whether we consciously realize it or not, everybody is interconnected, even when they leave. Because the soul doesn't die, so the soul is on that internet. So we do good things the same way. We want to do in this world good things to the people we love, and you and I are learning we want to do better things to the people we don't love. Because we want the light to come back to us. That's why we learn. Embrace the challenge. The person saying nasty, terrible, awful things about you. You just want to smack them in the head and run away. No, we call it pause. Start sending light, compassion, kindness, because now you understand it's not just one piece is going to go out. Now it's going to go out, but it's going to start collecting from 8 billion souls and come back to you 8 billion times over. So then you have to ask yourself, what's worth more to you? Holding the resentment against them and therefore attracting 8 billion pieces of resentment? Or pause and, like we say, send through them light of compassion, forgiveness, tolerance. And if you're new, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form you have to hang out with them anymore. As long as you're sending them light, you're connected to the light in their soul and you're repelling their hurt, resentment, anger, greed, ego, whatever that negativity is. But if, heaven forbid, you behave with equal resentment because of what they said, hello, sorry to tell you, but truth is truth. And understanding, as we call it, knowledge is power. Not only are you keeping connected to the resentment in that person, but the magnetic force in you of that resentment starts drawing from 8 billion people a spark of resentment. There's no neither. Someone's asking, what if you do neither? Neutral. If you think about neutral, anyone here ever drive a stick shift? You ever heard of a stick shift? Right? I guess you could do it in your car also. You're driving on the freeway, 65 miles an hour, and now you throw your car into neutral. Does the car stop instantly? What happens? It keeps going, essentially 65 miles an hour, and then because you're not empowering it, so to speak, slowing down and slowing down. But neutral just means whatever was continues. Means I'm not changing it. So if I had resentment, and they awaken resentment, but I'm not going to say, okay, I'm really resenting them, I'm going to be neutral, then the resentment that I had still stays, and I'm still drawing from 8 billion people that same amount of resentment. Whereas what you and I are learning is if I start to send the light of compassion, the light takes away the darkness of resentment, and compassion goes around the universe and comes back 8 billion times over. So in essence, there's either forward or backward, so to speak. There's adding to the light, or heaven forbid, adding to the darkness. Those are our only choices. There is nothing else. There is nothing else. So then you and I want to start thinking about, So you put kindness out there. So the kindness comes back. 8 billion people, or 8 billion pieces. Put generosity out there. Why not? You know, it's funny, people always talk. Okay, again, every religion I know of has talked about tithing. Simple idea, tithing. You give 10% of your income, that's how you get rich. That's how you maintain prosperity. Everybody says it. Now you got all the life coaches talking about it. Every spiritual book on prosperity will say, first law is tithing, 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 tithing. Why? Now you can understand even in this way, in the quantum way, if you give 10%, one, you're acknowledging it all comes from the Creator anyway. It's not ours. We don't have the brains. The Creator gave us the talent and ability and the ability to go to work and do what we do to make the money that we make. And all the universe says is, give 10% back. Take the class, go on Kabbalah.com, look up prosperity or whatever, tithing, and you'll have a class with more of the details. But now in simple terms, if you're giving that, you're saying, no, I know it all comes from the Creator. I'm willing to share that 10% to spread light in the world, not just to give to my relatives or my family or whatever. That's not real tithing. Bringing light into the world, then it goes out. And if you think in that simple term, like we're saying today, 10% goes out, it starts to add this magnetic force of it all belongs to the Creator, I'm happy to give it, starts collecting from 8 billion people. No wonder it's going to come back more. right? Simple concept. So if you have that abundant consciousness and you act with abundance, it's going to go out and come back more abundant. You act with compassion, kindness, security, certainty. It's going to go out, it's going to collect from 8 billion people and come back. That's what we've got to start thinking. But think about, because the other side is important also. We can't ignore it. We can't ignore it. The first 10 years of my spiritual journey, I was involved in various teachings. Actually, I was teaching. They didn't talk about the other side, right? It was all about like positive thinking, just a little bit on steroids. Positive thinking, positive thinking. No, you and I are learning from the beginning, from Kabbalah 1, Class 1, like we say today. Embrace your challenges, because it's your soul's light just covered up in the negativity that you covered it up with by your last actions of insecurity or fear or guilt or shame. It's like a gift from the universe. Oh, none of you look like you've gotten a present ever, no? Nobody gave you a birthday present, anything? Right? You hint to your family, you know what I'd really like for my birthday? I know it's months away, but you know what I'd really like? And then you get this big box on your birthday. It's got a ribbon, it's got gold wrapping paper, it's in a cardboard box. Do you look at the box and the paper and say, that's not what I told you I wanted? You give me wrapping paper and a cardboard box with ribbon on it? What do you know? At least what do you hope? Inside the box is that gift that you've been hinting at. But in order to the wrapping paper, the ribbon, and the box, you got to open it up. So every challenge comes our way. Even the negative people come our way. They're a gift from our soul to say, hey, abundance, give me happiness, give me joy, give me love, give me protection. Okay, that's the light of your soul. But you remember when you covered it up with fear, resentment, anger, guilt, shame? So here's your present. Remove the guilt, remove the anger, remove the fear, remove the jealousy. And then the light inside is that gift you've been looking for. So once you understand that, then there's nothing can come your way that you can't be blessed by. That for me was what was nagging at me for 10 years. I was in these studies before Kabbalah. Literally dropped. I don't want to tell you the story now, but literally dropped 1987, March of 1987. I was picked up by the universe, dropped in the Kabbalah Center, and I heard Karen Berg for the first time, blown away. 2 days later, I heard the Rav. That was it. Kabbalah 1, the middle of Kabbalah 2, I was picking up to move to New York to be a teacher, because this was everything. Because it tells you right from the beginning, oh, it's not pretend that you don't see the bad or don't think about the bad, just focus on the good. No, because we all have some bad stuff. We have bad when you look in the mirror. Tell me you never looked in the mirror and said, that was stupid, or worse. You ever said that? So, even you and I, the good, the great people on earth, we do our bad stuff here and there. So if we could learn how to turn that darkness to light, then I don't care what it is. I acknowledge it. I'm going to transform it. I get more light. Then I face the next present. Again, the same thing. So what we're really learning here is how to speed up the process, which means don't wait for the universe to give you the present. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, objectively, without the negative emotion, but say, okay, yes, I still have some fear, ego, jealousy, greed, whatever it may be. Let me go out voluntarily and act in its opposite. Greater love, kindness, and compassion. Let me do some more, greater level. Forgive that person I didn't want to forgive yesterday. Be compassionate to the person I wasn't compassionate yesterday. Can I share with you something? I hope it doesn't push too many buttons. For some people, and I've seen it in my own life, so I can share it. When my mother died in 1977, in fact, maybe that's why I'm getting it now, because her death anniversary is coming up in a week. She died in 1977. And for me, it was literally the wake-up call to get out of the path of the physical world and where I was going there and get into the spiritual world. It took her death to wake me up and say, no, if I really wanted to remove pain, suffering, and death from the world, where I was going, and I hope it's okay I tell you, medicine, they didn't have the technology. I saw by her death. They didn't have the ways and means. Not saying that they're bad people or anything like that. No, they didn't have the technology. How to save lives. She died. But she died after she was ready to go. That's what woke me up. So it took her leaving the world to wake up in me a new sense of compassion, a new sense of urgency to find ways and means to do what I'm doing now. And I've seen over the years, I've seen people, they're all about the business. They're all about, the 1%, what their job is, what their fame and fortune, this and this and this. And then, boom, some tragedy comes along and wakes up a sense of compassion. I hope I can say it here. You remember Mothers Against Drunk Driving? You know how that got started? A mother lost her child to a drunk driver. She woke up. Now, I'm sure she was a kind, good person. But before that, was she focused on drunk driving? No. But when something for the world in that way. So sometimes tragedy will do that. What you and I are learning here in the Kabbalah Center is how not to wait for that to happen. Do it on your own. Wake up and start feeling the pain. The Kabbalists talk about some of the greatest Kabbalists. They say Moses was equal to every human being on earth. And let's say conservatively there were maybe 50 to 80 million people on earth at that time. So it wasn't like 100,000, 200,000, whatever. Talking of number of million people. Say he was equal. If you put him on a scale, right? Moses and all the, let's say 80 million people, be equal, balanced. Why? Not because he was so heavy. No, because he was sensitive to the pain, the soul of every person on earth. What you and I ideally are learning and waking more and more, feel the pain. So when that person comes and they scream at you, right? And you're going, why? I was so nice to them. Don't feel, oh, what about me? No, feel their pain. Their soul is trapped in a body that's so caught up in anger or fear that that's all they can do to have some sense of immediate gratification, screaming and yelling at you. So you pause and send light to their soul, wake up in their soul, compassion, forgiveness, and tolerance to break themselves free from the anger or the fear or the insecurity that's pushing them to do that negative action. That's what we're supposed to feel. Quantum, we start feeling the pain because we're feeling it anyway. You just don't realize it. That's why some days you'll wake up in a bad mood. You go to sleep in a good mood and you wake up in a bad mood. Why? Because somehow while you were asleep, there was a hole, a little opening in your soul that could feel somebody else's pain out there, and you wake up with that bad mood. So instead of just saying, okay, bad mood, I'll try and shake it off, no. Stop, think, pray, meditate. If you have a Zohar, scan your Zohar, send light out to those 8 billion people to wake up compassion, kindness, tolerance, some kind of spiritual optimism, an awakening that they'll want to do something to get out of their own darkness, not just try and throw off your own bad mood in the morning. No, we've got to start feeling the pain. Look what's going on in the world. What do they tell us these last few years? For me, I hold Kabbalah, the Zohar, as the framework, and then I look how it shows up in the physical world. So like we were saying today, there's only one soul. But for thousands of years, nobody thought that way. All of a sudden, those of you who are, let's say, more than 40 years old, do you remember when you were a teenager ever hearing the word global? Nothing was global. Nothing. Now, there's nothing that's not global. What does that show us? Quantum. Everything is interconnected. Even they're saying it. So the last few years, what did they say with the pandemic? We're all in it together. I don't care how they meant it. But you and I can look at it and say, what are they really saying? What we're saying today, everybody's one soul. Everyone's interconnected. You can't say, oh, well, that's only over there. We're all in it together. The Kabbalah Center's been telling us for 100 years this year, we're all in it together. We're all one soul. We're all affecting each other. I said, you can't unfriend, defriend. You can't, the only thing that could be close to, we could call a firewall, you send light out into the cosmos, as much as you can, 24/7, as much as it can be on your mind. Drive down the street. Don't just think about where you're going. Send light. Just start sending light out. Think from your soul, let it shine out to the world. Now you're affecting those 8 billion people. You're changing the planet. That is your protection. How do you know? 35 years, I've probably heard it hundreds of thousands of times. You walk into a dark room. How do you get rid of the darkness? Do you tell them what your bank account is? Do you tell them how big your business is? Do you tell them what political power you have? Do you say, hey, look how strong I am? How do you get rid of the darkness? You have to turn on the light. So if that's true physically, what about spiritually? No, spiritually we think because of that ego voice in our head, I'm the smart one, I have the power, I can do it. No, turn on the light, darkness goes away. So you want to be protected from the darkness? Send light, darkness can't enter. There's no such thing as a flash dark, but there's a flash light. You can't inject darkness into light. You shut off the light, you can show up darkness temporarily, but you turn on the light, darkness can't enter. So you want to be repelling people's negativity? Send light. The beauty of that is not only are you protected from their negativity, but because you're sending light out to 8 billion souls, what's happening in those 8 billion souls? Compassion, kindness, generosity, tolerance, forgiveness, gratitude is waking up in their soul. Because the fundamental, what I always call our secret weapon, the Kabbalah Center secret weapon, besides the Zohar, but the Zohar is based on the fact that every human being on earth has a soul full of light. Look at history. Every person who did negative things, terrible, genocide and all of that, they still have the light of God inside their soul. It's just not awakened. So when you and I are sending that light out on the spiritual internet, we're hacking into their soul. We're awakening the light. Love, compassion, kindness, tolerance, and forgiveness. We're making that be so strong in their own head that they will give up their negativity because they'll feel so much inner pain of their negativity, they'll change. Ever happen to you? You ever not change until you were in enough pain? So, if we're sending light on the spiritual internet, we're causing people to feel the internal pain of their anger, their resentment, their hurt, their guilt, their shame. They'll change it. You try and get them on the outside. How many times have you ever tried, especially if you're in the Kabbalah Center very long, you want to tell your friend, oh, you got to come to the Kabbalah Center. What they teach you is amazing. How many times you get this? Oh my God, these people are crazy, right? Why aren't they listening? But if you reach into their soul, they can't stop that. Even the most evil acting person cannot stop your light that you're sending from your soul from reaching their soul. Temporarily, they can hold, as we call it, hug their chaos, their negativity, that they may not yet act kind or compassionate, but it's waking up inside. It's waking up inside until it's so powerful that they can't hold it back anymore. That's our work. That's our work. Awaken the souls. So number one, it's good for us. I'm collecting 8 billion sparks more than what I was sending out. And I'm awakening 8 billion people. So as we close, what's the idea of the Messiah? And you can all have whatever your religious background tells you, but the bottom line of the Messiah simply means the end of pain, suffering, and death. That's it. So you and I have learned here in the center, we cannot just wait for whoever or whatever it is to happen. What you and I are learning here in the center is how to make it happen. When enough people on earth are acting with this consciousness, that we put so much light out there and wake up so much of those 8 billion souls that we literally tilt the balance of power. And that's why it doesn't take 4 billion people to do. It takes a critical mass of light. And 50 of us, 100 of us, 10,000 of us, maybe 1 million of us who are united in this consciousness can shift the balance of power. So today I hope we wake up how powerful we really are. Because I'm sure a lot of us think, well, I'm not capable of changing the world. I don't have political power, money, but whatever it may be, we don't feel we have power. No, we have the light of God inside of us. We have the power that holds up the universe inside of us. We have beyond an atomic reactor, or whatever they call them now, nuclear, within us. So if nuclear power, heaven forbid, could destroy the world, why can't the light of the Creator repair the world? Light removes darkness. And it will reveal what's always been hiding there in the darkness. That's the power. So as we're finishing up today, I had this thought. We want peace in the world. Now we feel more capable. So as you and I will simply express even a penny more of kindness, love, generosity, compassion, humility, tolerance, forgiveness, etc., goes out to 8 billion people, wakes up the penny in them. Suddenly, like we said, 8 billion pennies of light become 80 million beams of light changing the planet. And the more of us do it, and the faster we do it, the faster we get rid of the darkness, the faster we can see. That's what peace on earth is made of. And I don't think there's a person on the planet Even the ones who are doing bad stuff, what do you think they're looking for? Really? They want peace. They just think they can have peace if they get rid of everybody unlike them. But we all want peace because that's what's implanted in our soul. So you and I, today particularly, quantum, the spiritual quantum, if we're putting out just sparks more, when enough of us do that, then we'll take away the darkness and we'll find the Garden of Eden, peace on earth, has always been right in front of us. But we didn't see the entrance. Now we'll turn on the light and everyone will be able to enter peace on earth, the Garden of Eden, and we'll draw the other 8 billion with us. God bless. Thank you. So what we do now, and I want to thank you all for being here, number one, and just appreciate what you do. I shared last week, and just to remind you, these little pocket Zohars, easy for people to carry. One of the ultimate mission of the center is spread Zohar all around the world. So it is the time of our offering. It's a free will offering, whatever you feel the value you've gotten, but just also that you'll understand, every $10 donation means one of these can go out to a person in the hospital, to a police person, a fire person, hospital workers, etc. Right? Soldiers. This started in 1989-90. We started creating these little books to give out to the Palestinian and the Israeli soldiers. At the start of what was going on one of the conflicts, that they would be able to have the light of the Creator in their pocket. Stop some of the negativity, right? Now it's grown to everywhere. So at least have one of these in your car, in your pocket. For people who want to learn, we have a scholarship fund. So for every $100 you give, one more person can have a full scholarship to Kabbalah 1, 2, or 3 online. So again, it's quantum. So if you've supported one person to have, again, not only is it just the one of them, some of what they get come back to you, but again, it goes out 8 billion times because now you've got more energy out there, stronger magnetic force, you're getting that extra from 8 billion people. So this is why we take this moment just to bless the offering. Let me just put it here. For those of you who are online, there's the site you can give. So just hold your offering in your hand, those of you with us. And after we do this, we do have a meditation on one of the 72 names, so don't go away. Hold it in your hand. Money is a vessel. It's a container of what you put in it. So we take this time to put in our love, our gratitude, appreciation for all that the Creator's given us, for all our work in manifesting that which is the Creator has given us. And we awaken a stronger desire to be a better, more pure, clear conduit of the light of the Creator from above, the source of infinite light, through us, through our life, out to this quantum soul of humanity. And we send it out with our love and our blessing to reach directly into that heart and soul of every person on earth, awakening them to a higher level of consciousness, of the power they have to share their light, remove darkness eternally, and manifest eternal bliss. And we know as we're sending it out there, through all that we do here in the center, it's increasing that much faster through the 8 billion souls that we are affecting. And together we say, Amen. So thank you for that. Also, just as a reminder, these videos stay on the Facebook page, and I'm also posting them on the YouTube, the Spiritual Sunday YouTube channel. So you can watch them there, send your friends, because some people watch it on Facebook, some people on YouTube. I'm trying to figure out how to do it on Instagram. So if any of you know how to do that, if I can put the whole thing on there, I do that too. All right. Otherwise, I'm just doing shorts. Okay. For those of you unfamiliar, let me put it up here. What you have here, or what you see in this chart over here, 72 3-letter combinations. The Hebrew letters are not Hebrew letters. They are portals to the endless world. They are conduits, or if you call them, spiritual photons of light. They are the DNA of our soul. Every soul on earth, whatever you are Jew, Christian, Muslim, black, white, yellow, it doesn't matter. You have a soul that comes from the same creator. And the system of that soul, or the DNA, like the same thing. Everybody has A, T, C, and G on a physical level. Doesn't matter who you are, religion, background, belief, etc. Same physical DNA. So again, the spiritual DNA is the same. So what they call the Hebrew Aramaic letters is just the DNA of the light force. So this is why when you're scanning, literally just like a barcode scanner, your eyes are the window to the soul. The light that shines out of these letters, light force particles, go through the eyes and start activating more and more of the light inside you. Just like when you check out your groceries, right? They scan it across the bar scanner, right? It goes into the computer, and the computer now is activated to give all the information, the price and the inventory and blah, 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 like that. So how much more these? So this one in particular, Aleph Nun Yud, if you're not familiar with the letters, the shapes are important, so just look at those, is to help us connect to this big picture. Like we said today, the quantum picture, that I am not just impacting me, my family, my local environment, but now I want to be awakening not only the true power, but also the consciousness, that I'm impacting 8 billion people with everything I do. And so that this energy, Aleph Nun Yud, will help strengthen our consciousness, our focus, and the intensity of the light that shines out of our soul, because that's in our hands. So this is just helping us to turn up and intensify that energy. Aleph Nun Yud, so just look at the shapes, let them be engraved in your mind's eye. And then if I can ask you, sit comfortably in your chair, hands on your lap. Take a few deep breaths, breathing in through the nose. Hold the breath for a moment. Exhale through your mouth. Creating a circulation of the light force of the Creator that exists in the air, that is called the breath of life. Just relax your body, relax your mind. Just focus on the awareness and the sense that you're immersed in the infinite light of the Creator, surrounded and embraced in the infinite light of the Creator. That available to each and every one of us, 24/7, 365 days a year, eternally. This light is available. We just have to open ourselves up to it. Just allow yourself to feel this warmth, if you will, metaphorically, the hug of the Creator, unconditional love, and hearing the voice of your soul reminding you that you are a pure and perfect being of light, that you are a piece of the infinite light of the Creator implanted in your soul. And allow yourself to envision Aleph Nun Yud, these 3 light force particles above your head, and see them shining, bright white light, the light of the Creator, the light of the endless world. Feel the vibrations emanating from them. And slowly allow this name, Aleph Nun Yud, to enter through the top of your head, awakening more of the light inside you, through the head, strengthening your connection to the thoughts of your soul, the true thoughts of the light, and this consciousness of the big picture, that each of us have power to influence 8 billion people. We have the power to speed up the process of peace and harmony in the world by taking the actions in our own environment, in the situations we face every day. And let the Aleph Nun Yud, this energy, continue through the rest of your body, awakening the light of the Creator inside every cell of your being, from head to toe. As you're having this awakening, listen for the voice of your soul, for it is giving you some inspiration, some guidance, some bit of wisdom that you need right now. Allow this force, Aleph Nun Yud, to settle in your heart. Let it also awaken the true love that you have in your heart. Let it expand. Let it shine through the illusionary walls of hurt, resentment, anger, blockage. Whatever may have been holding your heart hostage. Aleph Nun Yud, awakening the big picture, that everything is for your good, and now is the time to free the light of your soul through your heart to every part of your true soul, as we together let it shine out to 8 billion hearts. That we're awakening the Aleph Nun Yud that exists in every heart, every soul on earth. That every person is having an awakening. There is a big picture. That everything is for their good ultimately. That it's our work, our spiritual mission, to refine everything comes our way, from chaos to order, darkness to light, curses to blessings. And in your mind's eye, see the aura of 8 billion beings shining brighter with pure light, unconditional love, happiness, peace, and unity. Listen again for whatever inspiration your soul is speaking to you. Feel the weight that's lifted off your heart. And feel the joy of the light that's coming back to you 8 billion times over. And together we'll take one more deep breath to anchor it in our heart and soul and mind. And as you exhale, slowly opening your eyes. So thank you all who are here in Boca. Thank all of you who are around. Oh, I just wanted to remind you, next week is part 2 of this. We have another aspect to Quantum Kabbalah Physics. So be with us next week. God bless. If you'd like to be in touch, so Facebook me or messenger me or email me. Also, those of you who would like to get the weekly message that I send out, just send me your email address and I'll put you on the list. And if you're looking for a little guidance and clarity and you don't have a Kabbalah teacher yet, you can write me. We can meet one-on-one. I can make those arrangements also. God bless. Have a great day, a great week, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.
Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to this channel that you'll be notified when we post new videos. Share the video with your friends, they can also benefit. And check out the website, www.kabbalah.com. That's Kabbalah, for hundreds of articles and classes. Wish you an amazing day, and God bless.